Hey, Kyle, AA0Z here. I'm going to show you the connectors that I never leave home with whenever I'm going to go on a sota or a pota or maybe portable activation. I have a huge tackle box, which I have a whole bunch of RF and ham radio supplies that I take with me. But if I had to take a few connectors with me, these are the connectors that I would take. So let's get into it. So first, adapters do not add significant loss to your signal. So these adapters, a good adapter will literally add negligible loss to your signal. So don't worry about putting connectors on your coax. Because you are in the HF range, these connectors are very, very good in not degrading your signal. And the dB loss in these connectors are so small that you don't have to worry about them at HF levels. And also, don't spend a fortune on adapters for portable HF operating. A good adapter should cost you less than $10, and you should buy from a reputable source. I would advise against getting connectors on eBay. I would buy from a source that you know and trust, that you have purchased other ham radio equipment from. DX Engineering is a good source. They have Amprenol connectors, 2 for $46. This is for a permanent setup or maybe a repeater setup where you're going to have that connector in service for years and years to come. So I would suggest, if you're going to buy connectors for just operating portable, don't spend more than, between $5 or $7, maybe $10 on a connector, on a good connector, and it will last you a lifetime if you take care of them. Okay, so here is a typical setup that you might have. So you might have a FT891 that has a SO239 connector, and then you have a PL259 to 259 cable. That's your standard cable that you might find in your arsenal. And then you also have an antenna, which has an SO239 connector on it. So if you connect the radio up with the antenna, you don't need any adapters, because those connectors are native to the antenna and to the radio that you have on your cable. They're PL259 and SO239s. So you don't need any adapters. If you find yourself in this scenario, you're good to go. The next scenario that I find myself in is I bring my 100-watt radio out and a 100-watt antenna, but I brought my BNC to BNC cable instead of my PL259 cable. So in that case, I need a PL259 to a BNC-F female connector to plug into the BNC male on one end, and I need to take a PL259 to a BNC female connector to plug into my antenna that also connects into the cable. So in this scenario, I need 2 PL259s to BNC-F female connectors for this to work. The next scenario that I found myself in is a 100-watt radio, an FT891, and a QRP antenna, which I've grabbed the wrong antenna, and now I need to turn the power down on my 100-watt radio to get the activation done. But I have in my arsenal a PL259 to PL259 cable. So in here, I need no adapter for the radio, but I need an SO239 to a BNC male connector to connect that antenna up to this QRP. In this case, it's a QRP guy's antenna. So I always have one of these in my arsenal. Now you've grabbed the BNC male to BNC male cable, and now you need to adapt the 100-watt radio to the cable. So here you need a PL259 to a BNC female connector, because on your FT891, you have an SO239 connector. You need no adapter on the antenna because it's a QRP antenna, and typically QRP antennas are BNC. Not all of them, but typically they are in this scenario. And that is the 100-watt radio scenario. There are many times where I have taken my KX3 or a QRP radio out into the field, and I bring my 100-watt antenna and I bring a PL259 to PL259 coax. So now we're going to go through the scenario of bringing a QRP radio out into the field and the different cables and the different antennas that you might find yourself without the right connectors. So in this scenario, I've got a KX3 with a PL259 to 259 cable and a antenna that can do 100 watts. Well, now I need a BNC male to SO239 adapter to make this scenario work. In this scenario, I've got a KX3 to a BNC male cable and a 100 watt antenna. So on this side, I don't need any adapter because this is a native BNC female, plugs into the BNC male. And then I need a BNC female to a PL259 to adapt this cable to this 100 watt antenna. Again, keeping with the KX3, which has a BNC female, now I need a BNC male to SO239, and I've grabbed a PL259 to a PL259 cable. Now I need to adapt that back to this QRP antenna, which has a BNC female connector on it. So in this scenario, I've got this PL259, I need an SO239, and a BNC male to get this to the right adapter. And the last scenario here is a KX3 with a BNC male to BNC male and a QRP antenna. And here we need no adapters, right? Because we have the correct adapters on the correct connectors on the cable that we need for the KX3 and for the QRP antenna. So these are the connectors that I don't leave home without. If you have an opinion on other connectors that you take with you, give me a comment below. Hopefully you found some benefit in this video. 73.